Hey guys, in this video, we are going to do the March real estate market update for the San Francisco Bay Area. Hey guys, my name is Sean, and on this channel, we go over real estate investing tips, strategies, and current events to help you learn more about the business and to help you become a real estate investing boss. So if you guys enjoy this video, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell notification to see more videos when it comes out. Every single month, it seems like you guys are all super interested in seeing how the real estate market has been performing. So this month, we're gonna be looking at how single family homes and condos and townhouses have been performing in Santa Clara County, San Mateo County, San Francisco County, Alameda County, and by popular demand, Contra Costa County. So to get this data, we went to pro.mlslistings.com. This is the actual MLS where real estate agents can post their listings that will then distribute it to Zillow and Redfin. So we're getting our data straight from the source. So the first one that we're gonna look at are single family homes based in the Santa Clara County, because that's where I live and that's where I care about the most. So let's look at how single family properties have been performing. So we go here to statistics, we look at the county as Santa Clara County, and then we look at residential properties and click on single family homes. So from there, we look at these kind of system presets on the left, and let's take a look at the average days on market and sale to list price ratio. So it looks like in February, the average sales to list price ratio has skyrocketed from around 104% to 106.5%. So that means that properties that are listed for $1 million are now selling for 6% above that. So if you list it for $1 million, it should probably sell for $1,060,000. It also looks like the average days on market has decreased by a little bit, but in general, properties stay on the market for about 3 weeks or 21 days. If we take a quick look at the listings by price range, we can see that it's around the same as before, where most of the properties are in the $800 to $1 million price point, and then 1.2 to 1.4, and then 2 million to 3 million. Santa Clara County includes cities like Milpitas, Sunnyvale, Santa Clara, San Jose, and even all the way to Mountain View. If we take a look at the months of inventory, we can see that the months of inventory have increased a little bit. So that means that there's a little bit of a slowdown in the market, but overall it's still pretty healthy. If we take a look at the peaks from the previous few months, like here in the middle of COVID, the months of inventory jumped up to 2.5 months. But in general, anything that's in the 1 to 1.5 months is still considered low. And so what the months of inventory statistic means is if there were no more new listings and properties kept selling at the same pace that they're selling now, it would take around 1.5 months to completely sell out of homes, and then there'd just be no more new homes for people to buy. So now if we take a look at the activity of number of homes for sale versus sold, we can see that there have been a little bit more new listings coming up. So remember a few months ago when I saw this and I was surprised. It's because usually you don't see more properties being sold than properties being put on the market. So now we're seeing a bit of a reversion back to normalcy, where you have more listings than you have properties that are being sold. But as long as it's not like this, where there's too many new properties, the market is still okay. So they're about the same, 979 versus 632. Okay, so let's look at sales volume by area. So again, this shouldn't have changed too much from last time, but most of the sales from last year have been in Morgan Hill, Gilroy, and Santa Martin. So let me change this a little bit by changing the time frame to just the past month. Okay, so most of the sales have been in San Jose. So if you look at the chart here, it looks like we've had almost $1 billion worth of sold properties in San Jose since the beginning of this year, so January and February. And then Palo Alto, we have 165 million, then Los Gatos, then Saratoga. So these are the pricier areas. I'm pretty sure San Jose is more of the numbers game. So more properties have been sold in San Jose. And then where is our favorite town, Milpitas? Milpitas only has 49 million. So not too many properties have been sold in Milpitas so far this year. So what this says is if you want to sell properties really quickly, probably buy something in San Jose. I mean, San Jose is very large anyway, so it's good to see this. Now let's go back and look at these numbers for the condos and townhouses for Santa Clara County. Okay, so let's look at these two. And let's go back and check out average days on market and sales to list price ratio. Okay, so even here, it looks like the sales to list price ratio has improved, but not quite as much as for residential properties. So here we have our properties going from, around 100.5% to 102.5%. So it has increased, but not too much. And it also looks like the average days on market for condos and townhouses in Santa Clara County has gone down a little bit. So instead of 35 days on market, now we're seeing 28 days on market. So you basically shaved off an extra week. If we look at the listings by price range, we can see that there are some condos being sold for 400 to 600K, then another big peak at 600 to 800, and then finally one at 800 to $1 million. If we take a look at the months of inventory, okay, we can see that there's a slight decrease here to 1.4 months. So overall, still not too bad. I think condos in the South Bay are okay. Not too crazy, but also not terrible. And here we also see that we have more active listings than we have sold properties. So let's go check out the volume by area. All right, so same here. It looks like most of the condos are being sold in San Jose at 265 million next to Sunnyvale, and then Mountain View, and then Santa Clara. All right, so that's it for Santa Clara County. Let's move on to San Mateo County. All right, so for single family homes in San Mateo County, we see that there is a slight decrease in the days on market and a slight increase on the average sales to list price ratio. So just to look at it a little bit more, it seems like we're now at 104.8%. So, about a 1% difference. If we look at the chart, we see here that we have our three peaks here at 800 to 1 million, 1.2 to 1.4 million, and 2 million to 3 million. This makes sense because the peninsula and San Mateo County is generally more affluent than Santa Clara County. All right, looking at months of inventory, it seems like the months of inventory have increased a little bit. So properties have been staying in the market a little bit longer. Let's look at the number of homes for sale versus sold. Okay, we have a lot more inventory here compared to the properties that got sold. So this could be a sign of a small slowdown in the San Mateo single family home market. To this one, let's check out year to date. And we can see here that most of the properties are being sold in Menlo Park and then Redwood City at 141 million, then San Mateo at 112 million, then Hillsborough at 106 million. All right, let's move on to condos and townhouses. Wow, it looks like condos and townhouses have done really, really well. Now, this right here seems like an artifact. This is like one of those glitches that happen in the system because there's no way that condos went for 1,194%. And it's sad because this glitch is going to be apparent in all the videos going forward for the next year. But average days of sale seem to have decreased by a little bit to 35 instead of 37. If we take a look at how much the listings are, you see they have a major peak at 600 to 800,000, and another one at 800 to 1 million, and then another one at 1.2 to 1.4 million. So it seems like we had a small improvement in our months of inventory for condos and townhouses in San Mateo County. We're now at 1.9, whereas before we're at 2.2. So properties are selling a little bit faster in San Mateo County. All right, looking at the number of homes for sale versus sold. As you can see here, we still have more inventory coming on the market than properties actually being sold. Okay, now let's look at the area number of. Okay, so it seems like for the condo market, most of the volume is done in South San Francisco at $875 million. Then you have San Mateo, then Foster City, then San Carlos. All right, let's move on to San Francisco County next. And let's check out the single family market first. Look at this roller coaster ride. So it seems like properties in San Francisco have shot up quite a bit. The average days on market doesn't seem to have moved too much, so it's still from 31 to 30, but this sales to list price ratio seems to have gone up from 105.4% to 109.9%. So people are overbidding on San Francisco properties right now. And that means that if you see something for $1 million, expect to pay 1.1 million for the property. All right, if we take a look at the listings by price range, you have peaks at 800 to 1 million, 1.2 to 1.4, and 2 million to $3 million. Looking at the months of inventory, it seems like we have a small improvement. Let me just double check here. Yeah, from 3 months to 2.9 months. So properties in San Francisco sit on the market for a long time, but on average, if they do sell, they sell for more than their asking price. And looking at the number of homes for sale versus sold, it seems like there are less active properties on the market, but less properties actually being sold. So, the ratio of active to sales are still very similar. So next we have our year-to-date volume sales for the different areas in San Francisco. So here in this graph, we can see the sales volume by area. Seems like Noe Valley has the most at $58.5 million, then San Francisco County at $36 million, Bernal Heights at $35, and then Eureka Valley at $27. So if you want a lot of volume and you want a good place to sell your property quickly, check out Noe Valley and maybe Bernal Heights. All right, so now let's check out how the condo and townhouse market has been doing in San Francisco so far. So it shot up to 66 days on market, which is over 2 months, and went down a little bit to 63 days on market. But the sales to list price ratio has also increased by a little bit. So now instead of 98.6%, now you're at 101%. So if you listed for $1 million, you can now expect $1,010,000 instead of less than what you were asking for in the first place. So good news to condo owners in San Francisco. The market is picking up a little bit, but it's still very, very slow. And if we look at the listings by price range, you have a big peak here at $800 to $1 million and another one at 1.2 to 1.4. And by looking at the months of inventory, we can see that there is an increase from 4.5 to 5.1. So again, if no other condos went on the market and condos in SF are still selling at the same pace, it'll take them 5 months to finally clear out all of their inventory, which is a huge change compared to single family homes in Santa Clara County. And looking at the number of homes for sale versus sold, it's good to see that slowly but surely these properties are coming off the market, and a couple hundred at a time they're actually being sold. But it's still not great to see this huge difference ratio where there's more active properties than there are properties that are being sold. And if we look at sales volume by area, and let's change this to year to date, we can see that most of the sales have been done in South Beach at 53 million, and then Pacific Heights at 41 million, and then Mission Bay at 33 million. Cool, so that was the San Francisco market. Let's move on to Alameda County. All right, so for Alameda County, average days on market and sales to list price ratio, we can see that the average price has increased again. So the market is super hot in Alameda County for single family homes, and the average days on market has decreased again to 17 days. If we look at the listings here, we can see that there's two big peaks at 600 and 800,000 and 800 to $1 million. Then you have another peak at 1.2 to 1.4 million. So in my mind, as a flipper, I'm thinking my exits should always be between 800 to 1 million or 1.2 to 1.4. It seems like that's where most of these homes are being sold at. Now looking at months of inventory, we can see that there's a slight increase from January, but still not too bad. The months of inventory is only 0.8. So compare that to condos and SF at 5.1. Here it takes less than a month to completely sell their inventory. Looking at the chart of number of homes for sale versus sold, it's like the opposite of condos and SF. You have more properties that are being sold than properties that are on the market. And same here, 616 properties sold versus 496 properties still on the market. And from my experiences bidding on properties for my clients, or from my friends who tell me about how they were bidding on properties for their clients, sometimes there are over 80 parties bidding on the same property, going for over $100,000 over asking. So my suggestion to you, if you are looking to buy a property in the East Bay right now, if the property hasn't been on the market for more than 2 weeks, expect to pay over 10% of the asking amount if you want to win that property. Otherwise, don't even bother. All right, now if you look at the sales volume by area from January 1st, we can see that most of the properties have been sold in Oakland at 404 million, then in Fremont at 254, and then Pleasanton at 149, Livermore at 131, and Hayward at 115. So it seems like this is the place where all the people are buying houses: Oakland, Fremont, Pleasanton, and Livermore. All right, I'll do the same thing for condos and townhouses. All right, so it looks like the sales list price ratio has increased again, and the days on market have decreased by a little bit. So before we were at like 102.5, and now we're at 103.25. All right, looking at listings by price range, we have two peaks at 400 to 600,000 and 600 to 800,000. Months of inventory here have been pretty steady at around 1 or 1.5. If we look at the activity, we see that's pretty even. There's about the same number of active listings compared to properties that are sold. And if we look at the sales volume by area, we can see that most of them have been sold in Oakland at 91 million, then in Fremont, Dublin, Hayward. Okay, and now by popular demand, we're gonna go to Contra Costa County. So I'm excited to see what that's about. All right, Contra Costa County, it seems like it's doing very well for itself. Average days on market is 18 days, and average sales to list price ratio is 106%. So up from 104% from last month. It seems like the average home here goes from 400 to 600,000 and 600 to 800,000. Wow, the market seems to be doing really well here with the months of inventory being under 1 month. So this is the best one we've seen so far at 0.7 months. If we look at the number of homes for sale versus sold, we have more properties here being sold than there are active listings. So it seems like Alameda County and Contra Costa County single family homes are doing very, very well. And if you're trying to flip homes now, this is the place to be. And if we look at where all the sales are coming from, we can see that most of the sales are coming from Danville at 215 million, and then San Ramon, and then Concord and Walnut Creek. So if you want to flip homes and you want your property to sell quickly, try to focus on these 5 cities. All right, and finally, we're going to check out the condos and townhouses and how they're performing in Contra Costa County. All right, so it seems here that your average sales to list price ratio has also increased a little bit from around 100.5% up to 101.5%. And your average days on market is 27 days. It seems like your list price here is also very affordable, starting at 200,000 to 400,000, another peak at 400 to 600, and then from 600 to 800,000. Condo market here seems very strong too, with about 1.1 months for their months of inventory. And the number of homes that are for sale versus sold looks really good here. You have an almost equal number amount of properties that are active versus the ones that are sold. So it seems overall that the condo and townhouse market has been affected very much so in the higher priced neighborhoods like in San Francisco and San Mateo County, but has definitely not been impacted in areas like Contra Costa County. And if we take a look at where most of the condos are being sold, it seems like most of them are in Walnut Creek, San Ramon, Concord, and Danville at 92 million, 32, and 19. Well, I thought this was super insightful and very exciting to see the progression of the real estate market. It seems like so far, with interest rates being relatively low and the stock market continuing to increase, that the real estate market as a whole hasn't really changed that much. So if you're looking to buy a property in the East Bay or Contra Costa County, expect to compete with a lot of other people and expect to pay above 10% of the asking price. If you want to buy a condo in SF, you might have a better chance because these properties have been sitting on the market for a very long time. In any case, I think it's a super exciting time to be in real estate. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach me. You can find my contact information down in the description below. And if you guys have enjoyed this video, be sure to smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell notification to see more videos just like this one. And before you go, let me know your thoughts about the real estate market. Do you think it's going to continue to be this strong, or is something going to happen in the very near future? Let me know down in the comment section below. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time. Take care.